Imagine two farmers, or rather, two investors. They both start with the exact same plot of land and the exact same amount of money. Investor A plants a fast-growing, highly engineered weed. Within 6 months, it shoots out of the ground. It is flashy, it is massive, and it is impossible to ignore. He is taking screenshots of his crop, posting them on social media, and bragging about his 300% returns. This is the day trader, the crypto chaser, the guy buying whatever tech stock is trending this week. Investor B plants a Chinese timber bamboo seed. This is the person quietly putting $300 a month into a boring, broadly diversified index fund. Year 1 passes. Nothing happens. Just a flat patch of dirt. Year 2, year 3, year 4 go by. Still absolutely nothing. Investor A just bought a luxury car with his profits and is actively laughing at Investor B's empty patch of dirt. My name is Max, and I am here to tell you why 90% of people fail at building real wealth. Most people try to be Investor B, but after 2 or 3 years of looking at a flat patch of dirt, they get frustrated. They grab a shovel, they dig up their own seed, and they run over to buy the flashy weed instead. They abandon their plan because they feel like they are losing. But they aren't losing. They just fundamentally misunderstand how a compounding curve actually works. They are walking away right before the magic happens, simply because they don't know what is going on underneath the dirt. Why does staring at that flat dirt feel so painful? Why do so many smart, rational people quit investing after just 3 years? It is not because they are weak. It is a biological glitch. It is a condition I call the linear expectation disease. Our human brains are hardwired to understand the world in straight lines. If you walk on a treadmill for 1 hour, you burn 300 calories. If you walk for 2 hours, you burn 600 calories. If you work a 40-hour week, you get a 40-hour paycheck. Effort equals an immediate proportional reward. So when you take that linear brain and apply it to investing, you expect the exact same thing. You diligently put $300 a month into your brokerage account. After 2 full years, you have invested $7,200 of your hard-earned money. You open your app, expecting a massive reward. And what do you see? Your account has grown by maybe $500. Your brain instantly panics. It draws a straight line from that $500 into the future and concludes, this is a scam. At this rate, I will be 95 years old before I can afford to retire. I should just buy the flashy yeet. But wealth building is not a straight line. It is an exponential curve. It is the bamboo. The reason you feel frustrated is that your brain expects a straight staircase. But compounding is a flat runway that suddenly turns into a rocket launch. That massive gap between what your brain expects and what the math is actually doing, that is exactly where 90% of investors quit. So what exactly is happening under that empty patch of dirt for 5 long years? Why doesn't the bamboo show any progress? The bamboo isn't dead, it just isn't growing up. It is growing down. It is spending thousands of hours building a massive, intricate root system deep underground. It has to. Because when it finally decides to breach the surface, it needs a foundation strong enough to support a 90-foot tall tree. Without those roots, the first strong wind would snap it in half. In the financial world, the first 5 to 7 years of your journey is exactly this, the rooting phase. During this phase, your return on investment feels absolutely pathetic. If you look at your account balance in year 3, 90% of that money is just your own hard-earned cash, your principal. The actual magic of compound interest is just a tiny invisible fraction. You feel like you are doing 100% of the heavy lifting for 0 reward. But you are not failing. You are building the root system. You are accumulating the critical mass required for the math to actually work. You are building a foundation wide enough to support hundreds of thousands of dollars later. But here's the tragedy. If you stop watering the dirt in year 4 because you're bored, the roots die. You kill the bamboo right before it breaks the surface. But let's say you are patient. You make it to year 3, you are watering the dirt, And then a storm hits. The stock market drops 20%, 30%, or even 35% like it did in 2008 or 2020. This is where the digging up seed syndrome destroys your future. You open your investment app, you see the red numbers, your brain's survival instinct kicks in. You think, I am losing everything. I need to get my money out right now to protect it. So you hit sell. Let me be brutally honest with you. You did not protect your money. You just panicked, grabbed a shovel, and dug up your own bamboo seed just to see if it was still alive. And by pulling it out of the dirt, you instantly killed the root system. A market crash is just a storm. The dirt protects the seed. But the moment you panic sell, you permanently lock in your losses and transfer your future wealth to whoever was patient enough to buy your shares at a massive discount. There is a famous internal study from a major brokerage firm that looked at which of their investors have the absolute highest returns over a 10-year period. Do you know who performed the best? It wasn't the active traders. The best performing accounts belonged to people who either forgot their passwords or were literally dead. They couldn't panic. They couldn't dig up the seed. They just let the bamboo survive the storm. If you want to be wealthy, you have to stop checking the dirt every single day. Plant it, automate it, and leave it alone. So you didn't dig up the seed. You survived the storms. You made it through the rooting phase. Now I want to show you a tiny 2-minute trick that will literally double the size of your bamboo tree over your lifetime. I call it the one-drop lever. It is the financial equivalent of giving your plant just one extra drop of water every single year. Let's look at the math. If you invest a flat $300 a month at an 8% return for 30 years, you end up with about $450,000. Not bad, the bamboo grew. But what if every single January you set up an automated rule to increase your contribution by just 5%? In year 1, you invest $300 a month. In year 2, you invest $315. That is a $15 difference. That is the price of skipping exactly one coffee or one fast food meal a month. The increase is so small, so gradual, your lifestyle won't even notice it leaving your checking account. But here is what compound interest does to that extra $15. That tiny 5% annual bump, that single extra drop of water, turns your $450,000 into nearly $800,000 over 30 years. You almost doubled your entire lifetime wealth by automating the price of a coffee. That is the absolute most profitable 2 minutes of work you will ever do in your life. Let's bring this all together. Year 5 finally arrives. The root system is complete. And then something impossible happens. In the span of just 6 weeks, the Chinese timber bamboo breaks the surface and shoots 90 feet into the air. Meanwhile, that flashy, fast-growing weed that investor A planted, it died 3 years ago. It had no roots. It couldn't survive the first winter. This is the exact shape of your financial life. If you invest consistently for 40 years, here is the math that will absolutely blow your mind. Over 60% of your entire lifetime wealth will be generated in the final 10 years. The first decade is just the dirt, the flat, boring, frustrating dirt. The last decade is the 90-foot explosion. Warren Buffett is worth over $130 billion today, but 99% of his wealth came after his 50th birthday. He just planted a really good seed and he let it grow for a really long time. So if you're looking at your portfolio right now and feeling frustrated because it isn't moving fast enough, stop. Do not grab the shovel. Do not dig up your seeds to chase the next crypto trend. Automate your contributions. Set up your one-drop lever every January. Diversify your portfolio so it can survive the storms. And above all else, be boring. Boring is what builds the roots. Boring is what builds the 90-foot explosion. My name's Max. If this video helped you survive the rooting phase, hit the like button and subscribe. We decode the actual math of building wealth on this channel every single week. Go water your bamboo. I'll see you in the next one.